All right, here is the special one-on-one interview I had yesterday with Neoga Athletic Director Mike Taylor, featuring the WCI3 weather team, then the WCI3 news team as well, who I have used some of their content in this as well. Talk, Mike, about Friday night, Saturday morning was the unfortunate situation with the tornado here at the high school and the junior high. But talk us through what went on and what you dealt with as far as the phone calls, everything that escalated here.
Well, it kind of started Wednesday looking at the forecast. We had a junior high dance Friday night, and Mrs. Kep was in charge of it, and she was worried about the weather, decided to move it up half an hour, so they ended up going from 6:30 to 8:30 instead of 7 to 9. And then we just kept our eye on the forecast, just to make sure those times were okay. And fortunately, the kids had about 3.5 hours to get out of here before things took place. My phone alarm went off about midnight and got down to my basement. Things seemed calm about 12:30. I took off for a little drive and looked down the street. I'm 3 blocks away from the school, so I looked down the street. It didn't look like there was really serious damage of any type. Drove around town a little bit, didn't see anything, went back home, went to bed, and woke up to all kinds of messages making sure we were okay and checking on the school. And anybody from friends to other athletic directors to our BSN representative, other administrators, just checking to see how things were. At that time, I didn't think there was really that much damage. I'd seen some pictures on Facebook, but it didn't seem that bad. Came out to the school Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, and was shocked at what we found here. So since then, it's just been, Serve Pro has been amazing with the cleanup process that they've done. It's amazing how much they've been able to clean in a short amount of time. And the roofing company's been here on the gym roof, getting it taken care of, and some other places that they've been able to patch. Some places they haven't been able to patch yet. But it's been kind of a whirlwind of people helping out.
Channel 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey was all over this coverage Friday night. They do a great job, of course. And being at the school here, but also with Tyler Worthy's house, a former ag student, the ag department got hit pretty good. And kind of in the moment of seeing that, what's going through your mind?
Lucky nobody was hurt. If this happens during the school day, it happened so fast after the tornado alarms went off. I'm not sure how quick we could have got kids into safe spots. But just fortunate that nobody was injured, whether it was here at the school or the path that it took through a block just south of here. There were some major trees down and some people that were very fortunate that they didn't have major damage to their houses or anybody injured.
But the school has more than just roof damage. Ag department is in pieces, and it hurts my soul because I spent a lot of time there. A lot of my high school career was spent in the ag department, so it hurts to see so much damage done. It could have been worse. The superintendent says no one was hurt. Just south of the school, a homeowner woke up to his home being extremely damaged. Take a look at this video. You can see a large hole in the roof, and the entire front porch is missing. The homeowner told us during the storm, water began dripping into the home. He had plenty of buckets to catch the raindrops. However, he didn't feel at ease until the storm had passed. I didn't end up waking up until I heard my parents yelling about what I wasn't quite sure. By the time I stepped out to the living room, it sounded like a freight train was right outside the house. The house shook to its core. It felt like an explosion went off. I dropped to the ground, and I looked out the window, and the front porch was gone. Crews have already started repairing his roof. He says he's not only focused on rebuilding his home, but rebuilding Neoga as a community.
Just the debris, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Just in the upper area.
Yep.
How are you preparing now for this?
Insurance adjusters were just here. That's the first thing. I know they're gonna have to look at it. Structural engineers are gonna have to come in, and architectural engineers are gonna have to look at it and make sure it's safe, and then to see if it's fixable. in any way. You know, for the people that don't know much about this gym, there aren't any windows up there. Like, those aren't windows that are blown out. That's cinder block that's been blown out. And if you see the video, it looks like the roof was just kind of lifted up on this side and dropped right back down. So it'll be interesting to see what can be done, if anything.
This is the high school gym. Basically, that top right there got all pushed into and out. That right there is your problem. That's got to be taken care of. Lots of debris from the wind damage. They said on the news this thing was moving highway speed, 55, 60 mile an hour. In that time, how many calls and texts did you receive?
Well, honestly, it wasn't until really Jacob's coverage late or early in the morning, I guess, that I started hearing from people. Like I said, I went back to bed probably at 12:30, 1 o'clock, thinking that it wasn't anything major, just from a drive around town and a quick look towards the school. You know, you see the video, how quickly it went through and how quickly the damage happened. It's probably a good thing it was moving that fast, because if it's going slower, there's going to be a lot more damage.
Yeah, we've got some signs that are blown down and some damage here in the trees, and that circulation is really strong. There are power lines down on the interstate. Look at that power line there. We've had a tornado on the ground here move through northeast of Neoga. The interstate, there's a wreck up there where power lines came down on those drivers, Kevin. This is just north of Neoga here now. I-57 is going to be shut down at Neoga very shortly here. I think that tornado is down now, looking at radar now, moving towards Lerna, and I think it's moving towards Mattoon, Charleston. Looking at the damage here, this is an extremely dangerous situation, Kevin, with the interstate traffic and whatnot. So let's keep updated on that. If we can, send this report to the National Weather Service as well. Damage here at I-57 and Neoga, Kevin. Back to you. Just got word the school in Neoga may have taken a hit from that tornado. I had a photo that I saw pop up, some damage there when I was stopped south of Mattoon. Somebody sent me a photo saying, hey, the school got hit, and they sent me a picture of damage. I'll forward that to you guys here in a second. We're going to head towards Charleston, check out over there, and then I think we'll make our way back to Neoga. That tornado probably touched down. You know, if you're familiar with the school in Neoga, that's right on the east side there. It raced northeast to the Neoga exit on 45, northeast of town there. That's where Neoga Fire is responding to accidents on the interstates and power lines down, and then continued where we saw damage across US 45 about a half mile north of Cumberland County.
I guess that's part of maybe the gymnasium or something over there. You can see some of the damage there that is showing up. There's another picture that I'm going to get permission to show here, but it looks like the Neoga Elementary School did sustain some damage here tonight. That picture sent in to us. Jacob is on his way back to Neoga, where there's most likely been a tornado that occurred down that way. He's actually a couple minutes away, so we'll be checking back in with him here in just a little bit, but definitely some damage there at the Neoga Elementary School. So thank you to Zachary, who sent that photo into us here tonight.
55. Let's go north to Neoga there, a spot that we were kind of concerned with. Let's go right closer to town here first with that wind damage report here. It looks like we've got thunderstorm wind damage there. Semis blown over on 57, and just north of that looks to be a tornado report there. Let's see if we can click on that real quick here. Trula, outbuilding destroyed. Time estimated from radar with a radar confirmed tornado, 12:08 a.m. That would be earlier this morning. Then we got some.
As far as all the damage, the ag department was hit the worst. Obviously in the school here, as you see in the hallways, but talk about the worst of the worst, and you told me about the door of the bathrooms here that got flung open, almost like a bomb went off. And kind of tell me about that situation.
So, surprisingly enough, power didn't go out during this whole thing. So our security cameras caught everything. And you've got some video of the junior high hallway. There's a bathroom door right there, and right at about 12:04 with all the other stuff, all of a sudden you see kind of some shaking. The door flies open, and then debris starts falling from the ceiling. And you've got the aftermath of all of that. That junior high wing, that's our junior high main hallway, and You have classrooms that have windows blown out, debris down, then the next classroom to it is perfectly fine. You've got others that have a little bit of water damage, and like it's interesting to see from one room to the next. One can be just fine and the next one looks totally destroyed.
It depends on what you do though. If I need to maybe just do it in 2 hours instead.
This was all gone. The roof is completely torn off. This is a regular hallway by the gym. Open gap right there. That's pretty bad. Classroom right next to the gym, high school gym, completely torn to shreds. See the opening there? All the debris that was falling from the top. So this is the elementary school where they caved in. This was all completely torn to shreds. All right, the video you're about to watch here, 2 seconds into the video, pay very close attention to the top right hand corner of your screen. You can see the funnel with the light on it. Very interesting, very cool, but also very terrifying. Hope you guys enjoy this part.
You know, you always hear that there's a lot of pressure built up in a building whenever there's a tornado. And like you mentioned, the bathroom door, I mean, that was proof of it. Like those doors are heavy doors. They're not easy to move. And it flung open with some real force. And again, fortunate nobody's in the building, because if it's blowing a door open that forcefully, like what happens if we have kids or people in the building? Somebody mentioned the hole that's in the south gym ceiling, that it could have been caused by pressure coming through the ag shop and into there and busting that roof. Don't know if that's what happened, but you could see from one of the cameras when the ag shop, when the doors got blown off or blown in, I guess, you could see like forceful wind coming through off the cameras, and it's just interesting to see, because you always hear about these things. You never get to see it. You never get to experience what it really looks like or feels like. But really scary. Like, really fortunate that there was nobody here at the time.
There was nobody here for that reason.
Yeah, that's the number one thing for us, is that nobody was injured. I think one thing that comes out of this, you know, when you talk about tornado, you always want to get to an interior wall. You always talk about going in locker rooms. And our locker rooms over here were untouched, you know. So if you can get kids to the locker rooms and get them in there and you've got time, it makes us feel a lot better about having them in there. And I know a lot of schools put kids in hallways, but then you look at some of the interior hallways that we had, and, you know, Who knows how hard some of those panels came down from the ceiling, but they were definitely blown out of the ceiling, and there was wind coming through there. So very, very fortunate. Nobody was in the school, and we now know where the really safe places are in the school. So we can make plans and adjust plans of where to get kids if anything like this were ever to happen again.
Something like this to happen for Neoga Community, from a Neoga person like yourself, but also the AD, what's going through your mind?
You never expect it. You never expect anything like this. We were just talking last week about how nice it was. We didn't have a lot of snow days, and we were going to get out of school early, and now here we are off for a week, hopefully just 1 week, while we get everything figured out and figure out where we're going to be. One of the teachers that was in made a comment that it felt like 5 years ago all over again with COVID. About the same time of year, a lot of uncertainty as to what's going to happen next, and you got kids, seniors in high school. They're not sure if they're going to finish their senior year in the high school or not. The goal is to get them back here if we can, but I think that's still kind of up in the air right now. But just, it's not something you expect. It's not something you ever think is going to happen to you, and here we are. But then also very, very thankful, even though it's an EF2, the path it took through town and the huge trees that were uprooted and knocked down and nobody being injured is, it's a miracle. It's pretty incredible that for the most part we came out unscathed and just material things being damaged and no bodily harm or anything to anybody.
This gym has a lot of rich history, and you and Kevin were talking about, Superintendent Kevin Harmon, were talking about kind of what's next. But from an AD's perspective, how do you handle for the athletics perspective now?
Fortunately, right now, we're in the outdoor season. Our softball field is out at the park. Our baseball field was untouched. This week, we are not going to play home games just because we don't want people in the parking lot. There's going to be a lot of other trucks and people here working. So for at least 1 week, we're going to be on the road, which causes a few challenges, but it's, we go through this in the spring anyway with weather and stuff like that. Looking ahead to summer, last summer we didn't have all of our gyms because of all the renovation, and we were looking forward to this summer having all 3 gyms available. And now here we are, we're not sure what we're going to have available for the summer, whether we'll have 1 gym available, 2 gyms, or none whatsoever. So that it's going to cause a lot of problems for the summer, and then depending on what's determined for this gym, we may have to make adjustments next fall when we get to volleyball season too. We'll just have to wait and see.
What can people expect? The community, people who travel all over the place, what can people expect now for the future to happen here?
We want to get things back as close to normal as we can, as fast as we can. We need to find out if it's safe to have kids in this school at all. The south part of the school probably isn't going to be usable at all the rest of the year. Our hope is that maybe the north end of the school, where all the high school classes are, will be usable. The ultimate goal would be to keep the high schoolers in there. Right now, the thought process is to move the junior high kids over to the elementary school and have some makeshift classrooms over there. If there's an issue there, we've also have the old elementary school across town that has, I think they have 14 classrooms in there, that if we need to use those, we can go over and use those. As far as activities go, normally we have a school musical in this gym on the stage. Not going to happen in the stage, but we're going to make sure we have the musical. We're going to make sure that we keep events going and try to give kids all the stuff that they would have at the end of the school year that they would normally have if something like this hadn't happened.
Obviously, Effingham County, we are blessed to have community support, but how do you think Neoga Strong will come out of this with an unfortunate situation?
This is my 8th year here, and we've dealt with all kinds of different things. It's amazing how quickly and strongly this community rallies together. There's no doubt in my mind. I know I've been reached out to by a few people, and I know they've reached out to Kevin and some other people, just offering offering help, whether it's bringing food to workers, whether it's coming in and helping move stuff. And there's a church in town that is offering daycare to families because they expected their kids to be in school this week and they didn't have a chance to find daycare for their kids, so they opened up their church for kids to come in. It's what this community does. It's how they operate, and it's a blessing to be in a community like this, where when things like this happen, you know there's going to be tons of support.
Not really knowing, because it was dark out, that when we stepped into the ag shop and that we looked up, that it was just sky. So you can see this is where it was just completely ripped off.
Some parts of the elementary and senior high schools look rather untouched. Others are unrecognizable.
I would probably not go any more than this. The junior high portion of our building is, I would say, gone. So that's just not possible for us to go back to that area.
Classes have been canceled until Monday as crews continue assessing the destruction and making emergency repairs.
One of the questions they had was, oh, you mean the building that's got windows? We're like, well, those aren't windows. That's supposed to be the wall.
He says while it's devastating to see, the situation is better than it could have been.
Buildings can be replaced, people can't. I'm just very thankful that there were no kids or people in the school at the time, so nobody was injured, nobody was hurt.
He says hundreds of people have called asking how they can help. That support is at the heart of their efforts to rebuild.
It seems bad now, and it is, but we're going to get through it, and we're going to be stronger because of it.
The plan going forward is to have junior high students move to the elementary building and keep the high schoolers in the least damaged parts of the senior high. But that could change as crews keep looking into the damage. Other places in the community have offered up space if that plan isn't possible. Brandon?
All right, Gabriella, thank you. With school being out for the week, a church in Neoga is stepping up to give parents a place to drop off their kids. Grace United Methodist Church has never done anything like this before, but felt compelled to help. Through Friday, they're offering meals, activities, and games to replace what kids would normally do at school. They hope it takes some of the stress off of parents.
They still have to go to work. Grandparents aren't always on call. Aunts and uncles aren't always on call, and the kids have to have a place to go and get a meal, and we'll continue to do that all week. And so the parents know they're in a safe environment, they're busy, they're having activities. The kids were excited to be here today, and I think we'll have more tomorrow.
It's open for kindergarten through 5th graders. We have more information on signups at our website, WCIA.com.
Mr. Harmon, Mrs. Bridges, Mr. Bear, they're here hours upon hours right now. If people want to bring them something to eat, I'm sure they'd be more than happy if somebody drops something off in the unit office for them to eat. We've had, ServPro has been absolutely amazing today. We've had a time schedule for teachers to come in and get stuff out that they need and stuff that they're going to need for the rest of the school year. And ServPro's done a great job of organizing that and getting teachers in and out. So the cleanup process right now is running pretty smoothly. From an athletic standpoint, my thing is when we got a softball game at the park on Thursday. We'll have some home baseball games here in a couple weeks. Like, just come out and support the kids. High school and junior high track practice is taking place out at the park. Kind of stay away from that area from 3 to 5 while they're out there practicing. But don't be afraid to go out there and cheer the kids on as they're working too.
I appreciate you taking the time. So, Mike, thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, thank you for caring about our community and getting this information out there. One thing I haven't had a chance to mention yet, we've had several schools reach out offering to let us use their facilities if we needed to, offering to help in any way. I've had athletic directors reach out, other school administrators, had officials reach out to check on us. Just the outpouring of love from people all around the area has been overwhelming, greatly appreciated, and we're gonna make it through this. We'll be fine, and we'll see if we can make this school year as normal as we can for the kids.
Mike, I appreciate it. We are Neoga Strong. We wish the best of luck for this community. We are praying for you guys, and so I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Next time.